Hi, I'm Canary 3D. In this video, I'll show you how to transfer morphs from Genesis 8 female into Genesis 9 and how to create a Genesis 9 clone for Genesis 8 female. You can mark favorite morphs and just transfer favorite morphs if you want. I find that involves a lot more clicking than transferring all the morphs over and then only saving my favorites. So that's how I'm going to do this. First, you select your source, which is Genesis 8 female. The item shape is default. For your target is Genesis 9, and your item shape, this is important, it's going to be the morph that is Genesis 8 female. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. You could just dial the morph in and choose item shape current, or you can just find it in this list. You can type the first letter and it'll jump through, so it's not impossible to find, even though it's not alphabetical. Now, you want to uncheck almost everything here. You're not actually trying to conform Genesis 9 to Genesis 8. You need to check reverse source shape from target. That will back out that Genesis 8 female clone. And then under morph targets, you're going to take out these two. You don't want to overwrite any Genesis 9 morphs with this, in most cases anyway. And then if you've checked off favorites and you want to do that, you could do favorites or favorites and subcomponent. I take shaping and pose. That just is going to transfer everything over. And then accept. And it's going to take a while, so I'm going to jump ahead here for you. All right, it's finished now. So now we can go over to Genesis 9 and have a look at what we've got. Go to parameters, and I've got ICO 8. Now the control morph didn't come through, like the single control morph that would dial the head and body at the same time. And also the parameter settings don't have limits turned on, so if you try to dial it, it'll go wonky because, you'll pull the dial too high. So those are just a couple of little things that are somewhat problematic. Now, here we have ICO 8 dialed in. If you want it to exactly match Genesis 8, you have to dial in the Genesis 8 female shape as well. When you do that, now you have your typical ICO 8 shape. You'll have to project this morph into the eyes, or you'll have to transfer the morph over or something of that type for the eyes if they don't auto-follow correctly. And she's got this weird gouge in the side of her knee, so you are going to have some little things like this that happen. It's not an absolutely perfect solution, but it's pretty darn good, particularly if the figure's going to be clothed. You just put some put some jeans on her and that won't be a problem. So that is how to transfer the morphs. And then to save them, you choose your figure. You say save as support asset, morph asset, and then you can choose where to put them. I put them in my dev library. I say the vendor is Daz3D, not myself. You never want to accidentally, even if it's just for your own use, don't put yourself as the vendor name, or else something might creep into one of your products without you meaning to. So product name is G8F transfer. This is going to make a folder for these so that I can delete them if I don't like them. So here I'm going to just go ahead and choose the people. I'm not choosing the base because that belongs to Genesis 9 itself. So in this case, I want to actually knock the base out of all of these save sets because I don't really want to save that over into a second folder when it's already saved in the proper Genesis 9 folder. So this is what I'm going to save right now. And this is going to take a minute, so I'll jump ahead. While that's saving, I'll just show you. This is going to be under Data, Daz3D, Genesis 9, Base, Morphs, and then it'll be in the Daz3D folder. If you make morphs yourself, your morphs are going to be in your own folder. So you go into the Daz3D folder, and the name of your new product is going to be in there. So I'm calling this G8F transfer. Then they're all in here. So if you don't want something, you just delete the DSF out of this folder, reload your Genesis 9, and then you'll have gotten rid of it. I find this to be a lot simpler than trying to favorite the things I do want. I'd rather just delete the things I don't. So now that's done. Now I'm going to show you how to make a Genesis 9 clone for Genesis 8 female. Now we have Genesis 8 female here. So now we're going to export Genesis 8 female at base resolution as an OBJ. I've already got her out here because, I do this. I keep a library of all the exported bases because I have to use them pretty often. Now I'm just going to hide her to make things a little simpler. I'm going to then import that OBJ file. And then I'm going to use transfer utility to fit it to the Genesis 9 figure. So my source is Genesis 9. Here is where I need to pick that morph, the Genesis 8 female clone. Target is going to be my object. And for this I can just take the defaults, but you have to say reverse source shape from target. So this is the only thing you need to change, is this item shape up here, and you have to reverse your source shape. And then you go ahead and do that, and ta-da, now it's wearing, now the legs are in a different position, but that's not because of the shape, that's because of the bones. So now we're going to export this base res. We're going to call it G8F with G9 shape. Then we're going to go back to Genesis 8 female, and we're going to load it as a morph. And so then if I go to Morph Loader, I'm curious to see what happens with her feet. There we go. So her feet stay in the correct position for Genesis 8, but now the shape is Genesis 9.